and welcome to the second part of our Legalities series. Again, this is stupendously important to know, and I also apologise for how corporate this is going to sound, but bear with me, I will make it as short and sweet as I possibly can do. First up, before we get into it proper, yet again, does include a glossary, however I won't be covering it here. Though if you don't understand the meaning of some words, I do implore you to check our glossary video, which we'll make in the near future. First actual section we'll cover is section A1. This is a short section, so I'll just list it. 1. Conditions stated by this piece of literature apply no matter where a lot is located. 2. If you bid or otherwise participate in the auction, then it is on the basis that you have read, understood, and have accepted all of the conditions as they govern an auction house's relationship with you. Continuing this list in section A2, as agent for the seller, the auction house has authority to A. Prepare catalogues based on provided information, B. Offer each lot for sale, C. Sell each lot, D. Receive and hold deposits as either agent or stakeholder, it's important to know the difference, E. Sign each memorandum of sale, and F. Treat a contract as repudiated if the buyer fails to sign a sale or memorandum, pay the deposit as required, which is set out by the auction conduct conditions, or fails to provide identification as required by the auctioneers. 2. The auction house's decision on the conduct of the sale is final. 3. The auction house may cancel an auction or alter the order in which lots are offered for sale. They may also combine or divide lots. A lot may also be sold or withdrawn from sale prior to the auction. 4. It's important to remember that most auctions are held on the basis that you, as the buyer, acknowledge that to the extent permitted by the law, the auction house owes you no duty of care, and you have no claim against them for any loss. 5. The auction house may refuse to admit one or more persons to an auction. They don't have to explain why. 6. You will not be allowed to bid unless you provide evidence of your identity and where the funds you are purchasing a lot may come from, and any other information the auction house may reasonably require. Section A3 covers bidding, so let's get right into it. 1. All bids are normally made in pounds sterling, exclusive of VAT. 2. The auction house may refuse to accept a bid, and they don't necessarily have to explain why. 3. If there's a bidding dispute, the auction house is entitled to resolve it, and their decision is always final. 4. Unless stated otherwise, each lot is subject to a reserve price. This may be fixed before the lot is offered for sale. If no bid equals or exceeds the amount, the lot will be withdrawn from auction. Auctioneers never usually disclose the reserved price. Section A4 covers particulars, stuff you'll see in the catalogues. Same as before, let's get right on. 1. The auction house will take reasonable care to prepare particulars that are correctly described each lot. The particulars are made using information provided by or on behalf of the seller. You will always be deemed to have read and checked the particulars for its accuracy. 2. If the special conditions do not contain a description of the lot, or simply refer to a lot by its relevant number, you take the risk that the description is incomplete or inaccurate, as the particulars have not been prepared by a conveyancer and are not intended to form part of a legal contract. 3. The particulars and sale conditions may change prior to an auction, so be aware that it is your responsibility to make sure you have the correct version. This can be checked upon by simply ringing us and asking, or checking websites. 4. If the auction house provides information or a copy of a document, they do so only on the basis that they are not responsible for the accuracy of the information or document. Again, it's always best to check on the day that the information you have is up to date. Section A5 covers successful bids. So prospective bidders, listen closely. A successful bid is one that the auctioneer accepts as such. In most cases, it's on the fall of the hammer, which is that. 2. You are obliged to buy the lot on the terms of the memorandum of sale and any special conditions that may also form part of the sale. This is not always necessarily that price you have to bid, so make sure you have checked all of the sale documents, including any special terms and conditions. 3. You must, before you leave the auction, A. Provide all information the auction house reasonably needs to enable them to complete the memorandum of sale, including showing them proof of your identity, where your funds have come from, and this is even if you've done this previously. It needs to be provided every time. B. Sign this complete sale memorandum, and C. Pay the deposit. The sale will not happen if you don't pay the deposit. 4. If you do not, the auction house may either A. As agent for the seller, treat the failure as your repudiation of the contract and offer the lot for sale again. It is important to note that the sellers may have the right to make a claim against you for breach of contract at that point in time. B. Sign the sale memorandum on your behalf. Further in section A5, deposits are covered in more detail. Clause 1A, payment is usually accepted by either a bank transfer, banker's draft, or in some cases, check made payable to the auction house, or by their option, the seller's legal representative. B. The deposits are usually held by the auction house within their own protected client account, or at their option, the seller's legal representative's client account. C. Coming back to this point, most auction houses, unless stated otherwise in the sale conditions, usually hold the deposit as stakeholder, and VAT is normally applied to the auction house's fees. It is normally stated on the auction particulars if the purchase is subject to VAT, otherwise known as VAT elected. 2. The auction house may retain the sale memorandum signed on or on behalf of the seller until the deposit has been received and confirmed as cleared funds. 3. Where the auction house holds deposit as stakeholder, they are authorised to release it, or interest on it, if applicable, to the seller on completion, or if completion does not take place, to the person entitled to it. 4. If the buyer does not comply with the obligations under the contract, then A. You are personally liable to buy the lot, even if you are acting as an agent on behalf of the seller. A contract has been established, someone's liable to buy it. B. You will normally indemnify the seller of any loss the seller incurs as a result of the buyer's default. 5. Where the buyer is a company, the company must warrant that the buyer is properly constituted and able to buy the lot. Moving on to section A6, the last we'll cover in this video, which only has one clause, as follows. Despite any special conditions stating otherwise, the minimum deposit most auction houses will accept is £4,000. However, special conditions may require a larger deposit, so make sure that you do check that. And that finishes this part of the Legalities series. We aren't quite finished yet, there's still a lot of the legal stuff to go through. So join us next time, save yourself some reading time. Nobody likes reading.